Today on the program, this is episode 3. We're going to continue on with our project. Today we're going to modify a couple of things here. We're going to start out with entering in a to-do of number 8. And that is going to be, we are going to create the list view that will be on our index page. As well as the detail view, which will be on our 404 page, or the article page, if you will, in this particular scenario. As you remember, to recap, we're just creating a simple blog that is going to pull data from an XML datasheet and use clean URLs on GitHub pages in all its wonderfulness. We need to update the XML datasheet because we need to add a page path. The page path is going to be, our dynamic clean URL. This is what we will use. We use a, an HTML, or I'm sorry, a browser-friendly path without special characters or anything else like that. Later on in other projects, when we use a headless Drupal environment, this will be created by the Path Auto module that's included with the contributed module. So anyway, so in this case, we're going to modify the path here in article number 1, which is called article number 1. Keep it simple. We'll copy that, come down, and we will paste that to article number 2, and then of course change 1 to 2. And also we're going to just add on a little bit of content detail, I guess. We're also going to add a description tag. This will be for our list view so that we can have a title and a brief description of what the log entry is, what the blog entry is rather, for our articles. This will be like a summary kind of thing. We'll just copy and paste that, and we'll update that for article 2. And we'll go ahead and save that. And then let's see. Let's look at our list here. Number 10, we're going to add a description, which is something we've already done. Just want to make sure we have it on our list to do so that we can look at this in the future and look back at what we did, kind of keep a log to make sure we keep all our ducks in a row. Also, number 11, in the index.html file, we're going to add the list view and we'll add that as a tag in the subpage, or the 404 page, which is going to be our catch-all page. We are going to add a detail view tag, and that's what we'll use to compile our content from jQuery, list view and detail view respectively. All right, let's go into index, and just for now we'll put a list view placeholder down here in the HTML, and we'll create a section tag that will have our ID of list view. So let's go ahead and add that now. And we're going to add that right here. It's going to be section. And then we will add the ID of list view. And let's copy that, and we'll save that. We'll go to our 404 page, and we'll paste that, only make it a detail view. So let's go ahead and do that. Hit edit. And let's just paste that there and change that to detail view. And yeah, save it for now. We'll come back. We'll clean this up in a little bit. But want to at least put those in there so we don't forget. And yeah, let's update this because I did put div tags. Want to make sure that we're clear on that they are section tags, not div tags. Let's just check this over, make sure that we've done everything. Now we have to update the XML page. Let's see, well, never mind, we've already done that. But I think now is a good time to update our script. Just making sure that we have everything. I want to add a note here, though, to make sure that it's understood that a path for each page node in our XML is going to be our identifier, because we're going to use it as an identifier as well as the path. We'll get to using the identifier path in our next episode. Episode number 4. Moving along here. All right, so let's go into scripts. This is where we left it off. What we're going to do is we're going to add a sort. This function will sort our view based on the sort variable coming from the XML data sheet. So what we're going to do here is, as you can see, we've already created the AJAX. It's a get. It's going to our sitemap XML. It's data type XML. But here we're going to add the sort function. So using our variable XML sort, which is going to find each page node in our XML, we're going to create a sort function, and it's going to compare the sort value of the primary with all the subsidiaries. So in other words, so if it starts out with node 1 and the sort number is 2, it's going to look at every other page node to determine if it's higher or lower. And then it's going to sequentially put everything in order. That's what's going to happen here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our variable A, and we're going to find the sort variable, and we'll assign it to our initial A, or our primary, and we'll just put that in here as text. We don't really need to get crazy as far as integers and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll put our comparison, which is our B variable here, and I'll change that to B and leave the rest of that. And so now what we're going to do is just return, we're going to use the locale content. The locale content is going to, or I'm sorry, not LocaleCompare. That function is a built-in jQuery function that does exactly what I was explaining, which it takes, an A, compares it to a B, and then tries to find anything else in a sequential order. If not, then it returns what it's supposed to. So moving on, let's set our variables, title, sort, description, and content. Our XML sort variable, we're going to each function that out so that as you see above, it's going to find each page node. So it's going to loop through each page node with this each function. And so now what we need to do is we need to start declaring what our titles are, all those variables that we just created. So let's see, title will be this dot find title dot text, and then we're going to copy and paste for the rest of them, sort, description, and content. And so we just need to change these, appropriately. Description and content. So let's copy these over to our find. Copy that to find and content to find. Okay. Now what we need to do is start building out our list view and our detail view. So going to build the list view, and then we're going to build, or just put a description here that builds the detail view. If you're not a good commenter, I suggest you get into commenting thoroughly in your code. I'm not the best at it, but I try to do as much as I can so I can remember what the hell I did. All right, so list view. What we're going to do here is we're going to start by creating the list view append, and what that's going to do is it's going to append the section tag that we created with the ID list view, and the same thing on the detail page. The section ID detail view is what this is going to append. So notice I did my left carets. I don't know what these things are called. It's the shift and the button, or I'm sorry, no shift, the button that's left of the number 1 on your keyboard. I'm not sure what that character is called. Somebody out there comment and let me know what it is. I'm just not an expert on these special characters. I just know what they do. So, very informative show we got here. So anyway, we're going to create a div tag, and of course we're using a bootstrap. So we're putting in our class row, and then we're going to put in a div with class col12 or column 12 width. And we'll just copy it down here to do the same. So in here, we're going to start with putting our title. And we're going to create an H2, because don't forget, this is going to go in our list view, which is going to be our index page. It's going to be a list of all of the articles with a title and a short description. So just put title here, and then we will come down here. We're going to create another div, and this will just be our description here. We'll put that right there, and I think what we'll do is we'll go back to the beginning of H2, we'll create a new line just to keep it nice and neat. It also reads a little bit better that way. And so let's neaten up the rest of this code here. All right, so now let's put in description, and then we will put in our description variable. Okay, that's cool. And don't forget, we also need to add in our path. That's something we didn't do earlier. So we're going to add in path so that we can use our path in our title link. So we'll put that right here. Now what we could do is we could also write a little script that will take the title and strip out special characters and replace spaces with dashes. to create our URL friendly path. But we're not going to bother doing that in this particular series. Because when we go forward using more of a robust backend like Drupal, that will do it for us. So we won't really need to worry about it. Can we do it? Yeah, but I'm too lazy. It's just the way it goes. So here we're going to create our title and content. This is going to be our detailed view page, or detail view. And we'll just put our content variable in here. That will, when we go to that sub page, which we're not going to really focus on and get to this episode, but we're just setting the groundwork for it here. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then let's see here. We'll go to doc root and click on index. Let's see. Let's edit this. Anything we need to edit? You know what we need to do? We do need to add jQuery, the jQuery library, and we also need to add the scripts so that jQuery will run, the scripts that we were just running, they'll run on the index page and the 404 page. Libraries help here. So we're going to put in the SQL library, or I'm sorry, jQuery library 3.5.0. And all right, so next one down, we're going to add a placeholder just while we're here for the CSS. I doubt we're going to do anything with CSS in this particular series. We might do a little bit of light CSS just to, straighten out the visual. But we're not doing any compiled, like Gulp or Compass or anything like that in this particular series. We'll just do everything freehanded as far as CSS goes. So anyway, let's add our script that we've been writing. And add our source here. I believe it's JS scripts.js. I think that's what it is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll have to check that and be sure. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and add the absolute URL just to be on the safe side. Again, we can create a script that will capture whatever the URL is, so it can kind of figure out its own environment. But we're not going to do that this time because I'm not really focused on it. So let's copy and paste it from index, and let's go over to 404, and we'll paste it there in our head section. All right, looks good, looks good. Let's save that. And then we'll go up to actions and make sure that that's doing its thing. Wait for that to finish. All right, actions is done. Let's go to our code. Document, index, edit that. Yeah, it's scripts. Okay, so we need to change that to scripts. And we also need to go into 404 and change it. So half the battle of doing code is spelling checks and spelling errors and trying to figure out where you forgot to put things. And Lord knows I do it all the time. By the way, I'm not editing this particular video. I've edited the first two for time, but this one I'm leaving my mistakes in here because I kind of want you to just see that, hey, nobody's perfect. Lord knows I'm not. And I made a lot of spelling errors, and apparently here I've got an error here where I need to change this. I need to go into do a little bit of research to figure out what's wrong. In my browser, I'm looking at the console, going to list view. It all seems to be there, but there's something wrong with either the script or the HTML. So we have to do a little bit of looking at it to see what's going on. And by the way, I know what the problem is, but I'm going to try something else here just to, I guess, waste time. So let's change these to hard single quotes. paste all that in, remove that, remove my sideways single quotes. I think that's what we'll call them. We'll call them sideways single quotes. And again, if you know what they're specifically called, please comment. Correct me, and I will promise that I will give you credit for correcting me, and I will make sure that in my future videos I will call them whatever they're supposed to be called. So we'll do a couple of hard single quotes down here for the detail view, and fix my variables, make sure that those are all like that, and see what I can do. All right, let's go ahead and save that. Go to Actions, let Actions do its thing. But guess what? Hit refresh. Still got a problem. All right, let's look at it. This is one of those duh moments. All right, so right now I've got a bit of a cache issue. So I need to figure out why I can't get to my console errors. And so I think what I need to do is just do a hard reset of my browser to clear it out. I probably could have just done a regular refresh and it would have been just fine. But anywho, I did a hard refresh, and look at that. I can get down to scripts and see what's going on. And duh, you can't do multi-line hard single quote in jQuery. It doesn't work. And that's why I originally put the sideways single quote, because I know that works. But I'm a knucklehead because I figured out that I did a typo. My typo is right here. I didn't do an end single quote here and there. And now, of course, I can't, can't run it this way. I'm going to run action and everything else, and I'm still going to find it fails because it has multi-lines on the single hard quote, right? So what I need to do, see, it's failing right now, all right, because I can't do that. I need to have the sideways single quote because I'm a bonehead and I've been making errors. If you get this error, hey, I do it too. Just sometimes I'm brain dead, sometimes I work, doesn't matter. Eventually you'll find it because the browser doesn't ever lie. If you screw up, it will tell you. So anyway, let's go here and edit this and put back the sideways or tilted single quotes. Again, somebody's going to let me know in the comments. What are they called? Let's put them back. Let's paste that. Let's go and redo my variables. The little sideways single hard quotes, single quotes. I don't know. Fix title, and let's fix the description, and then let's finish the detail view also. Take that out, do my two parent sideways quotes, and again, that is the key that is right next to your number 1 key on your keyboard. Whatever that is, the one that's not shifted, because if you shift, it's a tilde. If it's not shifted, it's that sideways magic single quote, which somebody is going to comment and let me know what it is. Very much appreciated. All right, so let's go into actions and let actions do its thing. Once actions is done, we're going to go over and check our work. Hopefully it works this time. Drum roll. Damn. So what is it now? Another typo. Typos are a thing of development. So let's go back in, and it looks like we just need to finish our brackets in our jQuery. Another bonehead typo that we need to fix. But don't worry, you run into these problems. These are kind of problems you want to know how to fix. I know how to fix them. I also need to learn how to pay attention to my code a little bit better so I'm not so sloppy. So anyway, let's come down here. We've got a parentheses and a semicolon we need to add just to close out that bracket. That's all we need to do. There's nothing else wrong. So let's come down here and add just check everything over, make sure I didn't do anything else stupid. And there we go. Our parentheses and our semicolon, save it. Let's go to actions. Let's just follow actions to make sure actions is doing its thing. All right, there it goes. And we're back in the game. Hit refresh. Nope. What now? This is the never-ending errors. So what kind of error do we have this time? We have another typo. So if we go back in here to scripts, I put LocaleCompare and not LocaleCompare. It's supposed to be LocaleCompare. By the way, I'll put the LocaleCompare link to its documentation so you can read on that if you want to. All right, so actions is done. Let's go back and drum roll, please. Finally, boom, there it is. It works. All we got to do now is straighten it up. You know what we didn't do? We didn't have a container class, div tag with a container, so that our content is not sitting inside of a container. So let's add a container div tag inside our list view section tag. So let's come down here. Right here is our list view section ID. All we need to do is copy a div container. Paste it inside there. Neaten up our code a little bit. And close it. And don't forget, we're going to need to update our jQuery. But let's go ahead and get rid of this other garbage because that was just static placeholder stuff that we don't need anymore. Let's go into, before we forget, let's do the same thing in our 404. Well, hang on a second. I'm clicking on one thing and doing the other. So let me edit this real quick. We're going to add a caret, and we're going to add .container, and we're going to do the same thing with the detail view so that it maps to the container class of the div tag. We're going to save that. And let's check our actions. Actions is done. We should be able to go back to our page here, hit refresh, and boom, there we go. The crap went away. Our article, our dynamic article, is cleaned up, but we need to fix the links, because the links, although the path is working, we're getting the path correctly out of the XML. We just need to update it so it has the absolute URL, so that because our project is sitting in a subdirectory in the browser, we need to make sure that we just capture the absolute URL so that it maps right. So anyway, let's go in here and let's update our script so that we can put in our full path. Now we got to remember that the way we have it set up right now, the path has the leading /, so we need to take the trailing / out of our URL. So we've done that. Got our actions going. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Now it's running. It's done. Let's go back over here, hit refresh, and then click on one of our links. Test them out. There we go. Now it's going to the proper page. Cool beans. Hit our back button. So the proper page is the 404. Now, don't forget, we're going to use that path, article number 1, article number 2, or whatever the path is. We're going to use that to identify, or find rather, the page node that corresponds with that path. We're going to do that in our next episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Please like and subscribe, comment, let me know what I can do better. I hope you have a wonderful day.